Associate Director for AARP Arizona, and I'm excited to be here today with Micah. We are part of the Elder Alliance as well, and AARP's mission um, is to empower people to choose how they live as they age. And one of the ways we do this too is through HomeFit. Um, so today we will be discussing how to make your home more fit, and this is just through small and large modifications that you can make to your home so that it's more livable and accessible for people of all ages and abilities. So the first way we're going to hopefully ask you to engage is just take a moment and think of just a couple of words that come to mind when you think of the word home. So just take a minute and think of a word or two that come to mind when you think of the word home. And you can put it in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, you can also share it. But I see these over here: cozy, nest, home, comfort, warmth, safety. Anything else? Anyone else want to share? I'll share what I think about it too. I always think about I when I think of home, I have four animals and they're all here, so I love that. And I have these like huge dinosaurs in my backyard that my mom would like I would want them as a child, but and my mom would always be like, this is ridiculous and don't spend your money on it. But like they bring me so much joy. So that's what I think about is like my home is a place that brings me so much joy and it is exactly the way I want it to be. Um, and I think when we think of this kind of stuff, it's like these are the reasons we want to continue living in our home. Like our homes are what we created and they bring us joy and they're cozy and it's what comfortable and safe for us. Next slide. So I see somebody, I'm trying to admit people to Micah. So just out of curiosity, I don't know if there's anybody from Michigan here. I am initially a Michigander. Um, but the AARP Home Fit Guide was initially created by AARP Michigan. And this guide is a fantastic resource and it guides you really through some home modifications needed to make a lifelong home. So by the end of the presentation, you'll be able to reference the in the Home Fit Guide, start working on your own home. So you'll be able to recognize some home modifications, some key home modifications, some do-it-yourself fixes, and make spaces safer and more livable. And then you'll also be able to plan ahead for some more expensive changes to a residence that would allow for a lifelong occupancy. And then next slide. So here's the agenda for today, and we'll be covering why it's beneficial to make your home fit, what universal design is, and then we'll go over several modifications that can be made in the home. So before we begin, I just want to cover a few ground rules. Again, this presentation will be pretty boring if it's just Micah and I speaking. So I really hope that you will, feel free again, raise your hand, take yourself off mute so we can be engaging with one another. But again, share the floor so everybody has the opportunity to speak so we can learn from one another. Every time we do this presentation, I learn from people that, are in the audience sharing with me as well. This is a judgment-free zone, so don't be afraid to share anything or ask questions. And then also when you're not speaking, please just make sure that you're muted so we don't get a bunch of feedback. Next slide. So what are the perks of making your home fit? So research shows that home modifications, even small ones, can reduce the need for costly medical care, increase livability, and enhance independence. 1 out of 4 adults 65 plus experience a fall each year, and falls can lead to serious injuries such as fractures and traumatic brain injuries, and other leading cause of injuries related death in this age group. So these updates can result in a lifetime of living safely and comfortably in the home that you love. Next slide. So just out of curiosity, I did some research in Tucson, and I just want to say that we're going to go through some modifications, and they're going to vary from cost and difficulty level. But some of them might seem expensive, but when we consider what the cost of other factors in, they might not seem as expensive. So there's kind of like a link that you can go and look up kind of what the average cost of different stuff is. So if you were to get private duty home health aides for a month in Tucson, just out of curiosity, what do you think the average cost of that would be? And you can put it in the chat if you would like, or raise your hand. And I'm not afraid to call on Liz if I need to, or her budget. $2,040 per hour. I should have looked it up probably by hour, Donna. So I did it by month, and it is about $7,000 per month. For adult daycare outside the home is about 4,300. How about the average cost of assisted living per month in Tucson? Does anyone want to take a guess at that? 10,000. Carol's staying at a more expensive place. 6,000. A lot, yeah. It's about 6,500 in Tucson. And then what about a nursing home for a semi-private room? Any guesses for that? 8,000, 6,000, 10,000. It's about 8,500 for that. And that's a semi-private room. So when we think of those costs, and then we think about some of the more expensive costs that we're going to go over in the Home Fit Guide, when you think about making some adjustments to your house compared to, the semi-private nursing home, it's, you can weigh out the pros and cons of it yourself. But it might not be as expensive as it seems to you in that sense. Next slide. So universal design, that maybe sounds like a fancy term, but it really is a simple concept. So universal design is the approach to designing products and environments. Oops, somebody's off mute.
Got it. Got it. Here. Oh, okay. Oh, that's enough. Yeah, I mean, this will dry. I just want to get the worst of it.
Okay, so universal design is an approach to designing products and environments to accommodate all people, including those with physical, cognitive, and sensory impairments. And that is the basis for the Home Fit Guide and the conversation today. So in thinking about how to modify your home, think about additions that could accommodate all people regardless of ability. So making modifications that are low maintenance and energy efficient can improve the livability of a house. Making modifications so if a person uses a wheelchair or other mobility devices, improves the visibility of the house. And this also includes at least one zero-step entrance, wider doorways, and at least a half bath on the main floor. And we'll go over this in more detail in the PowerPoint. And then also another thing to think about is this isn't just about, thinking about people as they age. Universal design is for all people throughout their lifetime. So this could be people that may have trouble with stairs, and that could include a toddler, somebody using a stroller, this could be somebody, if it's your aunt that is using a walker, it's for everybody so that they can live and visit safely and comfortable. Next slide. So this is the HomeFit guide, and you can download it, and I can put the link in the chat as well. But the website is just aarp.org/your home, and this takes you to the free AARP HomeFit guide. And you can go on this website, you can download it, or you can order a free copy of it, and AARP will mail you a copy of it, and you can get it in multiple languages as well. Um, and this is a 36-page, fully illustrated room by room guide, and it provides more than 100 tips for helping people live safely and comfortably in their existing homes. And last time Micah and I gave this presentation, I also just want to state somebody was like taking like serious notes up front. And halfway through the presentation, she was telling me, like, you're speaking too fast. And I was like, oh, this is all in the HomeFit guide. So feel free, just go on there, take the information from the HomeFit guide. Feel free to take some notes, but also you can go and get the HomeFit guide, and the information we're covering in this is in the HomeFit guide. Next slide. So as we go through this presentation, on the corner of the slide, you'll see that there's two different price tags that you'll see. So one will be a single price tag, and that's going to be a quick, more do-it-yourself fix. And then the two price tags are harder to do or more expensive fixes. Although depending on your skill set, you might be able to do some of it. One of them in there is that we'll talk about a little later is a lazy Susan, putting a lazy Susan in your cabinet. And I don't know how to do that, but I've had people in these presentations in the past say like, oh, that's easy to do. So if you have that skill set, that might be a quick do it yourself for you, which is great. The next slide. So we're going to begin with some quick, easy fixes, and then we'll also go through some rooms that aren't so specific to each house. So next slide. So all of us are familiar with that annoying chirp of the smoke detector whose battery needs to be changed, but smoke detectors are a must-have. So smoke detectors have changed a lot over the past years, and now there are even hardwired battery-free versions, and some that have a 10-year battery. The newer devices cost more, but they're a lot more reliable. There are also smoke detectors that come with carbon monoxide or CO that monitor carbon monoxide. So the cost of smoke detector can be about $10 or up, and you can get them for about $5 or $10 more if you add the carbon monoxide monitor to it. So the important thing to know about the carbon monoxide is that if you have any fuel burning appliances, so a fireplace or an attached garage, you need at least one carbon monoxide detector on every level of your house. So especially by the bedrooms. The CO detectors come in battery-powered plugins and hardwired versions, and these should be placed either 5 feet from the ground or a few feet below the ceilings. Every time I usually give a presentation on this too, people will always roll their eyes when we're talking about smoke detectors because I still feel like everybody hates smoke detectors. So, including myself a little bit, but they are important. So talking about the kitchen needs an ABC rated fire extinguisher that's stored in an easy to reach spot. Does anybody know what an ABC fire extinguisher is? You can raise your hand or put it in the chat. This came up when I was, yes, Marcus, very good. This came up when I was giving a presentation once, and somebody had the wrong fire extinguisher, and it was not the correct kind for the fire that they had in their house. So an ABC rated fire extinguisher is a multi-purpose extinguisher that is effective for a class A, which is for wood and paper, a class B, which is for liquids, and a class C, which is for electrical fires. Um, so you should have these accessible throughout your home, and they're about $35. And then if you do have a garage, and you have tools or any sort of materials that can catch flames, it would be important to have a fire extinguisher in there, or if you have a workshop or utility room, if you have electrical panels, if you have multiple floors, and then if you have a larger house with bedrooms and hallways, those would be other good places to store fire extinguishers. Once a year, you can have your fire extinguisher inspected to make sure that they're still fully charged and functional and not expired. And you can contact your local fire department to find out where to have your fire extinguisher inspected if you're not sure. And then the first time I saw this slide and I was thinking a water heater, I just know how expensive water heaters are. And when I saw the one price tag, I was thinking, what is that for? But this is really to make sure that your water heater is checked to make sure that your water is 120 degrees Fahrenheit or less to prevent scalding. So it's always recommended that you could talk to your doctor if you have a certain health conditions that you need it to be set higher. So sometimes certain health conditions your doctor might recommend setting it at 140 degrees Fahrenheit to reduce the risk of exposure to bacteria. But again, talk to your doctor because you'll have to weigh the pros and cons of this choice based on your own personal situations. Next slide. So, throw rugs and step stools. So here are some examples on this screen, and there will be an X's, and then the check marks are for the positive ones. So trip hazards are a real concern in our homes. So trip hazards like throw rugs should be removed and replaced with cushioned, slip-resistant mats. And I just looked on Amazon and found that you could get slip-resistant mats for $10 and up. Some people do prefer to use double-sided tape to securely fasten a rug to the floor. That can be helpful, but it is a higher fall risk than just getting the slip-resistant mat. So sometimes having a step stool in your house can be dangerous, but sometimes they're needed around the house to reach higher shelves. So if you are going to have a step stool, be sure that you select one that has grip handles and non-slip surfaces. And again, I just looked on Amazon and found these for about $30 or up. Next slide. So looking at the exterior in the porch, so you want to make sure that your address numbers are highly visible to help delivery people and first responders find your home. So illuminated numbers or numbers made of shiny, reflective, or glow-in-the-dark material are the most visible at night. So again, just looking at Amazon, I looked up illuminated numbers and they're about $20 or up. And you can also get reflective stickers for your mailbox if it's on a street. If you're in an apartment, sometimes they have like, um, or like HOAs type stuff. Sometimes they have issues with you changing the numbers that you have, but you can get like a reflective sign with your address on it if your complex will allow it. And those cost about $11. Next, you want to choose a heavy, solid surface doormat that won't blow away. And those are about $10 up. And so the purpose of the surface doormat is so as you're coming into the house, you're able to really wipe your feet on it. So you're not bringing dirt and mud into your house as you're coming in. And finally, outdoor lighting is a must for safety reasons. So it's helpful to have at least one outdoor light that is at your height that doesn't require a ladder so that you can change it or anyone can change it and do so safely. It's also something you might want to consider adding solar pathway lighting that leads to the front entryway so that allows visitors and delivery people to safely approach the home after dark. And one time I was giving, and this is what I'm saying, like if you have comments that you want to make, feel free to, again, raise your hand or put it in the comment. So one time I was giving this presentation and somebody had told me that the fire department had told them that if they ever call, like the 911 or anything in the middle of the night for an emergency, what can be really helpful is if they get like a red blinking light and put it in their, especially if they live kind of like in an apartment complex or a condo or in a harder to find place, get like a red blinking light and put it in their window. That way it draws their attention really fast so that they're able to come see it to get help immediately. So, these are tips that I get from just, people in the community. So if you have your own tips, feel free to jump in. Okay. So the best case scenario is for the outside of your house, the exterior, is that you have an overhang and that will protect you. We don't get a lot of rain or snow so much in Tucson, but we do get a lot of sun. So it is to have an overhang that protects you from this. Um, and a porch that has enough room for sitting. So placing a table or a bench near the entrance provides a spot for setting down items while locking or unlocking the door. The same furniture, or if you put a bin or a box or basket, can be a place for delivery packages. So if no one answers the door. So a contractor can also help you with harder to-dos. So again, as we talked about earlier on, a zero-step entrance is the best because this is accessible for all people. So ideally, a home should have at least one zero-step entry. And this doesn't have to be your front door. It can be any door. So if you have a side door or garage door, as long as you have one zero-step entrance that allows people to walk into your house without going up steps, that would be ideal. And then if you can, this would be more of the two price tag, would be if you can create landscaping by adding sloped pathways. So that would be more needed to be done by a professional landscape architect. So consulting a contractor or occupational therapist to discuss options that would work best for you and your home. Next slide. So ramps can be permanent or temporary fixed to the home. So permanent ramps can be added to entrances by a contractor or other professionals, while temporary ramps are a good solution to those who do not want to permanently modify their home. If you have a relatively short step to overcome, you can also consider a threshold ramp. And these are inexpensive and easier to install solution. Also, keep in mind that a home ramp doesn't need to be at the front door. It can be at any door. It can be inside the garage, which provides an extra bonus as that gives you protection from the weather. So there are also other considerations while incorporating a ramp into the entrance. So it's also best to consult a professional for this. So I also looked on Amazon. Again, threshold ramps can be helpful, but not ideal if you need it for permanent. But I did find a threshold ramp on Amazon and it cost about $40. So especially if you have a visitor coming and you want to consider getting a ramp, that might be a good option for you. Next slide. And then also there are vertical platform lifts. So if you don't have room for a ramp, you might want to consider the vertical platform lift. And so these can be used either outside or in a garage. And you can also have call send controls. So you can have a manual hand crank if there's no power, or removable canopy. And then vertical platform lifts should be installed by a licensed elevator professional. So that is very important. And I think you maybe skipped one slide too, Micah, if you go back 2 slides for walker steps. Yes. So, if you do have steps, I just want to highlight this one too. They should be well lit and free from obstructions and have railings on both sides. And the railings should extend past the last step to ensure that safe transition for all people. So, steps can be adapted into walker steps. So, these have deep treads and short risers and allow people that use walker or cane to use the step safely. Walker steps can be a good alternative to ramps. And as we just went over ramps, and you can also buy the walker steps kind of already put together. I think when I was looking online, again, it depends on your budget. So when I was looking online, I feel like maybe I saw them for like $450 or so. But they can be as expensive as you want them to be. So moving forward, Micah, to slide 18. Yes. So next you want to look at your doorways. So the ideal width is at least 32 to 36 inches to allow for a wheelchair to pass through. And the ideal height is at least 80 inches. So if you were to measure your doorway and it's just too small, you could buy a swing clear hinge, and that provides an additional needed space, which would expand your door up to 38 inches. So these hinges make the door opening as wide as possible by swinging the door completely clear of the opening. Next slide. So, looking at your door, here are some other things to consider for safety. So, having peepholes can help the homeowners see who's outside before opening the door. I am always surprised at AARP. We also do a lot of like fraud presentations. And so I'm always surprised when people tell me that they always answer their door for people because I never answer my door. I have like two living rooms in my house, and I have my front living room is set up for like my workout room, and my back living room is actually where I sit, so nobody ever knows I'm home. And yes, and but so but people answer. I know that people answer their phone too. I never answer my phone unless I know who it is, but I also call people a lot at work and have a lot of people answer their phone for me at work without knowing who I am, which is also always surprising. Which is also part of my fraud presentation is don't do that. um so sadly that is where we live. But so a lever style. So if you look at these um, doorknobs here too. So if you look at the top one, you'll see that's the lever style door handle. And below it is a doorknob style. And so this actually just happened to me not too long ago. And I don't know if this has happened to anyone here. But I locked myself out of my own house because I do not have the lever handle. I have the lower one. And so I accidentally just twisted the knob and walked out of my house without my keys. So we recommend that you don't do that, is getting the lever style and then where you have to lock the key with the thumb latch on it. So a doorknob lock isn't the best choice for the exterior door because it is too easy to accidentally lock yourself out, which is a safety concern. For the most security, getting a keyed door lock should be separate from the door handle. A deadbolt or a cylinder lock is a strong device for securing the door. And then having a swing bar or chain lock is installed, or having the interior of the door will allow a person inside the home to open the door a few inches while keeping the door relatively secured if you do want to talk to somebody. Next slide. So entry space. So these are just some organizational strategies. So not every home has a large formal foyer, but most homes do have some sort of transition area when you enter the door. So this space should be free of clutter and should provide storage for things carried or worn. So natural light and open spaces also prevent trips and falls and allow occupants ease of movement inside the space. So choosing the correct furniture for this space is also important for modifying your entry space. So you could consider equipping this space with a slim desk or table or well-mounted shelving, and just think about what this room looks like and what your daily life looks like. So when I come into my house, I think about the first thing I do is I kind of kick off my shoes. So I want a place where I can put my shoes. And so I have something similar to this bench. But mine kind of lifts up and I can put my shoes either inside the bench or right underneath it. I have a little table next to it where I can put my car keys. I can put any mail that comes in. Um, I don't have a closet when I walk in, but I do have like a little bookshelf that I can hang my purse and my bags on when I walk in. So think about different kind of storage and benches and space so that you can modify your home when you walk in so that things are tidy, because otherwise it really causes a trip hazard if you're walking in and your shoes are laying out and your mail's on the floor, and you can't find your car keys and everything's kind of disorganized when you walk in. Next slide. So, also again, thinking about the current space that you have so you don't have to redo the entire kitchen is a cost-effective way to extend the lifespan of your kitchen design. So, perhaps storing pots and pans in your drawers or in open shelving makes it easier to locate and grab. Putting D-shaped handles on the cabinets and drawers makes it easier to open than having the knobs. Placing cushioned and slip-resistant floor mats again by the sink and stove can improve safety and comfort. And then rethink the space you have. So right now I'm sitting at my kitchen table. And so my counters are higher. So if I'm going to be cooking and chopping vegetables and stuff, standing there and chopping them could get uncomfortable if I'm doing it for a while. But if I'm sitting down at my kitchen table instead and, preparing my dinner, that's just rethinking the space that I have and moving instead to my kitchen table to prepare my meals rather than doing it all the time at my kitchen counters. So just a way to rethink the space I have rather than spending a bunch of money to try to, lower some kitchen counters and stuff. Next slide. So modifications that may require the help of a professional include cabinet and shelf changes. So this is where they talk about adding the Lazy Susan to a corner cabinet that can make pots, bowls, and other items more accessible. Add lower level cabinets with pull-out shelves and opening shelving to make things easier for people to access. Adding drawers of varying depths can maximize space when storing flatware, cooking utensils, dishcloths, bowls, plates, pots, and pans. And then for your kitchen sink, if you change it to a lever style, light touch, or the sensor faucets, make it easier to use and more sanitary. And now I'll hand it over to Micah.
Thank you. Before I get started, are there any questions for Angela or anything she presented? Feel free to raise your hand or write in the chat. Carol, go ahead.
When you were talking about the phone, I do a lot of phone calls, and there's been an increase in you have to press something to continue to the client, or you have to give your name before it'll go to the client. So they're kind of through the phone system itself, they're starting to get some more safety things on.
Oh, good.
I see a question in the chat about assistance for elder homeowners to get vinyl plank laminate wood flooring. No, that's totally all right. There's going to be a lot that comes up, and I will say towards the end, we'll talk about different offerings in Pima County at the least, maybe a little bit in Southern Arizona, that of support for homeowners. So sit tight. We'll answer that just shortly. I can't answer for sure, and I don't know that Angela could, but we can recommend and refer the places that do homeowner assistance and modification. So we are going to get going with some quick bathroom fixes. These are do it yourself on the cheaper end bathroom fixes, so you can do your own bathroom makeover. The bathroom is a very slippery space. I like to talk about it as a place that's a risk for anyone of any age, of any ability. Anyone can slip in the shower, can be just distracted enough, and the floor can be just soapy enough. So I really like to talk about it as holistic support that you can give to yourself by making changes in your bathroom. The first is rubber backed mats. So you might have a bathroom floor mat that is maybe a carpeted material, etc. It's recommended to get rubber backed mats so that they don't move on the floor at all. So that when you get out, you know that you're stepping on something that's stable and safe, and you're not going to uh, slip on your. If you have a soft carpet, but it's doesn't have any friction underneath anything, um, kind of taping it to the floor, clearing it to the floor, it's gonna put you at risk for slipping. So that's a big one, and they're not that expensive, and you can find them at a lot of retailers. Um, Amazon's a big one, but you can find it all over. My cat's right here, and she always likes to be here when I'm presenting. So if you hear a cat, that's me. Um, non-slip mats in the tub or shower. So assuring that you don't slip in the shower. It's very helpful to get non-slip mats in your. They make them shower size. They make them for your tub. There's ones that suction to the floor. I have what kind of peel and stick non-slip grips for the shower, so that when you're walking on the bathroom floor or the tub floor, I will say there's some structure there for avoiding a slip. Night lights are really great, so you don't have to you turn off the lights at night and you're trying to get to the bathroom or get something from the bathroom. Having that light access is very helpful, and even finding the light switch, etc. Finding the toilet, finding what you're about to use in the bathroom. A commode chair. Often you can find them to be used by a bed or in cases of needing it urgently. But you can also, as you see in the picture, you can place a commode chair without the bucket over the toilet, and it helps structure you when you're sitting down. That's really helpful if you have an injury or you're disabled, and it's a helpful tool. Those are great, and there are a lot of places that give them out for that sell them for less, or will recommend a place that gives them out for free. And a transfer bench that you're seeing in the photo here as well, to assist somebody from getting up from moving from a wheelchair or another mobility device into the tub, and it secures you so you're sitting there in the tub. There's also shower chairs for somebody who would prefer to just sit in the shower. There's shower chairs that you put in there yourself, or shower benches, and we'll talk in a moment about more permanent seating in the shower. And just reading in the chat there, unfortunately, there's all the tools aren't gonna work to everyone's bathroom, so we recommend finding what works for you, and might be figuring a few things out, getting support, even asking organizations that do homeowner support what their suggestions are is another tip. So
Micah too, I have
yeah.
like these rechargeable lights that I have them in my kitchen. And I have them underneath my cabinet. So you plug them into the wall, and then I when they're charged up, I just stick them underneath my cabinets. So they don't actually plug into the wall, only to charge them. And so then whenever they lose their power, I just plug them back in. So that might be something to look into, Donna.
That's
Yeah,
a,
thank you. Because I have five from TP. They give you those night lights.
Hmm.
And I have them all over the house. For some reason, the bathroom, because it's so small, but I'll try that. You could put in chat where you got that, where I can get that.
Yeah, I just got them on Amazon. Just like look for I'll try to Google it right now and see what it was that I got. So what they're called. So
that's a great tip. Target also has some lamps and rechargeable lamps. A little bit pricier, bathroom harder to do, but are an investment in your bathroom and in longevity in your home, is a comfort height toilet. So this is lengthening the height of your toilet, that and uh, it's permanent. It's more structured. There are options like toilet raised chairs so that it gives you height that you put on top of the toilet. That's not permanent. It's a assistive tool, but that is less stable. I would say this is built in and permanent, and uh, not not a risk of falling or anything. I don't want to say the other guy puts you in a risk of falling, but whatever is more permanent is going to be more supportive, um, and it depends on the person as well. Um, and you can get like a toilet raiser, and there's also what you see in this picture is toilet base riser. Toilevator is a nickname, and it raises the toilet from the bottom. There's also looking at your sink counters and the height. So if you have a bathroom that has a sink where the whole bottom might be shelves or cabinets or something, it's recommended, like in this picture, to raise the sink up so that a wheelchair can slide under, or a walking chair or another assistive tool. This allows more room as well for a person using the sink, and allows multiple people with multiple abilities to use it. So another permanent fix, but goes a long way for someone wanting to stay in their home. And it also means less bending. If your sink is taller, you're bending less, brushing your teeth, washing your hands. So supportive to the body. And talking about the bathroom shower options, so it's recommended to do the modifications to have a wide doorless shower with 0 step entry. It's accessible for all. It means there's more room in the shower. You don't have to step into something and risk a trip or falling. And transfer bench can be scooted on there, and so that's the most accessible option. Um, Other options including a full swing shower doors, or using a shower curtain or partial wall to cover the opening. Just wanting to create enough room for somebody in a either walking in and needing their um, full space, or using a bench or chair. Um, what is also recommended is a permanent shower bench. So you can see that here in the right picture. Is It's permanent in the shower, so there's no risk of break or any of that. It allows you to hold on to that longer, and you can adjust the height. You can move the shower head so you're using it while you're sitting. It's a lot more customizable and more adaptable for different abilities. So this is a focus on the shower, and it doesn't end there. There's a lot to do in the shower and in the bathroom. So this is a topic I'm very passionate about, grab bars, because um, what we think we might assume about grab bars, we have to have the full picture and full understanding. So starting from the left side, you'll notice that there are new and high quality grab bars that are even, I don't know, fashion forward, trendy. I don't know what the right word would be, but this is a toilet paper holder and a grab bar, which means that somebody can grab onto it and put their full force on that. And it's also usable for the bathroom. Um, Grab bars have to be installed in a way that is permanent and structured to the wall to create the most efficiency and also the most support and prevention of falls or injury. If you can, you'll see the second picture to the left. This is a grab bar that they sell where you can wind it up and kind of tightens it against the bathtub wall. Those are not recommended because there's no assurance that you're not going to pull a little too hard and it's going to come off and you're going to get injured in the process. So you really want a permanent structure. Um, as you can see in the next one, this one's in the bathroom. It's again very nice on a trendier kind of side, and it's a bar soap holder. They make a lot of different fashioned grab bars now. Um, there's another one to its right where it is horizontal. It's holding a loofah and a soap, so you can have grab bars that are multi-use and hold your shower items. And the one below that is another example of what you want to avoid. Because if you go on Amazon, even right now, and you search for grab bars, they want to sell you these suction cupped grab bars. And they're awful and they're dangerous because it doesn't matter your body's ability. We are adults with human strength. I don't human strength because I think that a lot of people just be able to, it suctions off the wall very easily. You really, really want to avoid suction grab bars. They are sold and marketed as a cheaper option, but they are not safe. And if you pull too hard, you're putting yourself at risk. So grab bars are stressed to be permanent fixtures, and they will go a long way. I have a belief that we should have grab bars in every bathroom and every home. I think you never know when you're going to need one. You never know when you're, God forbid, going to get injured but need support in the shower. So grab bars all over the bathroom are incredibly helpful. And some tips that I pass along from AARP and the Universal Design Institute is the color of the grab bar matters. They're the most common ones you'll see are these silver and maybe like matte silver over here. They recommend not purchasing white grab bars, especially if your background of your shower is white, because when you're in a pinch and you need to grab something because you're about to fall, you want to grab the thing that you see as the clearest in your shower, right? If you can't find it because it's blending in with the wall, it's not supportive. So you can find them in black, which is what the Universal Design Institute recommends the highest, is because it's clear to see. I guess unless you have a very dark bathroom wall or shower wall. And silver is also helpful, but they just recommend finding the darker color. They really don't recommend white. It's because most shower backgrounds have white in them, but that's up to you and what you find. Just try to remember permanent fixture and the most visibility. So I'll move us to the next slide. Talking about living spaces and thinking about what to prepare for safety. So you want to starting from the left to right, you want to always anchor tall furnishings to the wall. You want to preventing tripping and tipping. Like you don't, we are less earthquake prone. I grew up partially in California, so I always am, it depends where you are. And maybe you live in California some of the year. Maybe you live somewhere that your home is a little bit more prone to tipping or shaking of furniture. You can avoid that by anchoring it to the wall. That's a home modification that you can ask for help from organizations and entities that do home modification support. Providing about 2 feet of clear space you can see between the coffee table or the ottoman and the couch. So you can see this living room has a lot of space because you want to assure that people can maneuver sitting up and down, moving around, getting up. If somebody's using a wheelchair, to be able to move around the living room easily and without getting stuck or in a tight spot. You want to avoid furniture with sharp corners, obviously, because you don't want to bump into it, and that's another way to get injured. And securing area rugs to the floor. So you can see in the right part of this picture, the right side of the rug is flipped over, the rug is folded over, and that happens to corners of rugs. A really great quick fix solution is getting non-slip or double-sided tape. They're a non-slip rug. I call them like non-slip rug guys. I don't know. I'm sorry that I don't have the official title, but it's in our PDF, but they're usually triangular. They're very sticky, and you put them to the corners of your rugs or alongside the side of the rug, and it tapes it down to the carpet, so that's not going to flip over and trip you, and you have less of a risk of tripping over the rug. So securing rugs around the home is very important, especially in the bedroom, the living room, places where somebody is frequenting that space more. Some people use the living room to dine or watch TV, etc. Maybe have a snack by the TV. Using lightweight serving trays to transport plates, drinks, utensils instead of carrying each item one by one. I was telling Angela this last week, but I was talking to my aunt who's disabled and aging in Ontario, Canada, and I was telling her about this presentation. She said, "Tell them about my cart." She has a cart that she pushes around her house, and that's what she keeps a lot of her drinks or food items on. And so whatever, if it's carrying it or pushing it around, maybe it's using your assistive chair in some way, but there are ways to make living easier, right? This is about living in a way that's easier and more supportive to you. And so getting a tray or something to transport food items. There are walkers and wheelchairs that come with like drink holders. When Angela and I gave this presentation in November in person, somebody was showing us how they carry things on their chair. And so just remember that you can repurpose the room into can be a dining room if that's where you prefer to dine. It can be a bedroom, right? If your bedroom is upstairs and you need to live on the first floor or something, rearranging a living room to be a main level bedroom is always possible, or a craft area or a reading nook. Just creating it to be accessible and safe is the focus. Dining table chairs with armrests provide support for getting into or up from the seat. So comfortable, sturdy chairs with support on the side. These are changes that are good for everyone, not just your visitors, good for everyone around the home. So I'll keep going. Oop. Okay. Lighting and electrical, some quick fixes. It's recommended to use natural light during the day by opening the blinds or opening up the curtains to brighten up the room. It's important to note that window treatments anywhere in the home should be easily accessible for opening, closing, cleaning, and securing the curtain and blind cords so no one becomes tangled in them and trips is another way to keep the home safe. And especially if the curtains maybe hang down to the floor, that's a trip hazard. So having something to tie them up or just assuring that they're out of the way. You can place, so using natural light, using night lights is not just for the bathroom, but it's recommended to place night lights in unused outlets throughout the home. And you can get a 12-pack on Amazon or Target or what. You can get multi-pack of motion sensor night lights that can sense you walking up to them and they turn on. It's great for if you have outlets in the hallways or in the bedroom, but It lights up the floor so that you're walking in a lit up area at night, and it prevents tripping. We recommend battery operated dusk to dawn or motion sensor night lights, especially for steps and staircases as well. So you're not relying on your memory of where the steps are or whatnot. You can see where you're going. And these are simple tricks to provide enough light around the home, even in the dark. A little bit of the harder to do's around electrical, but are still important. Ideally, there should be switches at both ends of your hallway, at the top and bottom of stairs, or at both ends of your hallway, because to help you so that if you have a light switch, it's only on the upstairs, and you're downstairs and you turn the light off, you've got to go upstairs. Same with back and forth down the hallway. I have a very short hallway in my home, and I still have the 2 light switches, and I will admit that it's helpful. Light switches that glow in the dark are especially helpful in those areas, so you can really see. Sometimes you're struggling to find it at night. Rocker style switches, so you can see these are pictured, make turning lights on and off very easy. And if you get a dimmer, dimmers allow you to adjust the level of light. And these are more of those a little bit pricier but more permanent fixtures in the home. And then the next recommendation is adding wall sconces on each side of the bed. It allows you to turn on the light without getting up. You don't have to reach for the lamp cord or whatnot. They're more accessible. You're not if you have a lamp that's in a place that could knock over, etc. Sconces are more supportive in kind of the permanence of light, and you want to be sure that if there are sconces that are plugged in or if there are cords, etc., that they're out of the way. You're just to prevent any tripping. So just cleaning everything up that gets fixed. And just trying to get over to the. Before we go to the next steps, I want to go back really quick to the bathroom. We're maybe missing a slide, but I want to show in the second, the picture on the right of this, you'll see the shower head. There are oh, there's like drawing on the screen or something. The shower heads are not traditional shower heads that are just in the wall, but they are handheld. And so we highly recommend getting handheld, accessible shower heads, which make it a lot easier, especially if you're sitting down. You can take that off. A lot of them are, some of them are kind of the height of you standing and having to reach down and pull it off. Some of them are lower down, so you can be sitting down and pull it, but you can shower with that, holding it, and so you're not relying on the shower head. They're also very renter friendly and very easy to install. My mom got me a new one for my birthday because we went on a vacation and we like both got this very inexpensive, very nice shower head. And so you also might have a better experience in the shower. They make them, they're not crazy prices, and there are ones that mine you can move the main shower head up and down and all around, and then the lighter shower head is a magnet to the home base part of it, and so I don't have to work on clipping it down or something. It just quickly magnetizes on. A long spiel to just say that fixing your shower head is a very quick and easy. This is in the pricier tag, and they have pricier shower heads, but they also make them less than $50, and you can get them in your shower in 10 minutes. That took me less than that to install mine. So I just wanted to touch on that before we moved forward. and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Um, so next steps is we want to ask you to choose a quick fix that you can tackle within the next 3 months. So thinking about something in your home, somewhere in your home that you were inspired by something in this presentation to make a change. You're welcome to raise your hand and share it. You can write it down, keep it for yourself. You can share it in the chat. But this is tackling down my rugs. Liz is our first one. So, and I'll add that as well to mine. So I'll have some more corners to do. We'll take a few minutes here just to think about it, and it's good. It's good to help you leave this presentation with a actionable goal that you're going to work on in your own home. Harbudgeon has already tripped on her new rug, so gotta make that change. Oh, advice for dogs who threaten to break your hip whenever they run by. I am wondering that too for cats who walk under my feet. So
It's a
that's
joke, but the
no, I
struggle is
know.
real. I keep imagining like 10 years from now, they are going to knock me over if I don't train them.
We need
There
some.
is training you can do on your animals, because that is something that I saw a lot, was people get tangled in their rope and the dogs getting in their legs, and it's a training of the person as opposed to training the dog.
I like that. Good to know.
I'll just add too that my stepfather is when he's maybe like 82 now, so it was like a year ago. In their bathroom, they did not have a slip resistant rug. And he went in there at like 2 in the morning and slipped on the rug, and they had like a ceramic trash bin. And he slipped on it and fell on the trash bin. And it, like, I mean, just took off so much of his scalp. And my mom is a retired nurse. Um, and he has a bit of an ego. So he refused to let her call 911. Um, and so she just grabbed some towels and like was holding it on it. And so she was able to stop the bleeding. So she was like, all right, like let's get in the car. And they live in Ann Arbor, Michigan half the year. So that's where they were. And so they were able to get to the emergency room really fast at 2 in the morning. He just didn't want the ambulance coming to their condo and having all the neighbors see. Um, but had to get like all the staples in. So, it's like I gave them the HomeFit guide as soon as I saw them next. But, think about your trash bins too. Like maybe not have ceramic trash bins in your bathrooms if they're like small, tight spaces as well.
Absolutely. It's even um, worthwhile, like going around your house and just taking a tour of your space and just saying, where can I add some improvement?
You can get the stool with the handle. You can find those on Amazon too. I think Micah has a list too that he is going to send out with PDF that has a list of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Marga says buying a new fire extinguisher. The one they have is from when they bought their home many years ago. So yes, also check your fire extinguishers to make sure that they are not expired. And if you have one, check that it's the ABC label. You want to make sure you have all three. Um, to the comment about the grab bars, yeah, I think um, a lot of it is depends on your affordability of what you can afford and for installation. And um, I think some of them look a lot nicer than maybe they're usable. So I think just considering what is best for your needs, how many you need, and where you need them in the shower. So good to consider it on a individual basis as well. Yes, Amazon has a lot of options. It's easy to get that sent to you, and just consider the doing what they have a lot of different options that come on. So just doing some quick research and remembering what is recommended, what is permanent or more permanent. And these slides will be shared out after, as well as the link to the HomeFit guide that we recommend downloading if you have not already, and then a PDF for the recommendations, as well as where to find them and the prices from United Way Tucson and Universal Design Institute. So moving us forward, I like all these ideas for your goals for the next 3 months. Angela, do you want to share a bit about some AARP resources?
Yeah, so just a reminder about I know Micah just talked about it again. You can get the guide online, but if you do have a Apple phone or an iPad, we also have like a HomeFit AR app. And I used it just to see what it was like, but you just can download the app and then you take your phone and you point it. And it works right now. I think it was my kitchen and my bathroom and my bedroom when I last used it like 6 months ago. They keep updating it, but you just kind of point it at different objects in your house and it will tell you like if it is like the best quality, like this is really good, or if there are better options available. So like I pointed it at my refrigerator and it said that my refrigerator was really great because I have the kind of refrigerator that the freezer is on the bottom that pulls out. And then there's like a middle drawer that will pull out and then the two sides that open. So apparently that refrigerator is good. Um, and my bedroom not so great because apparently I don't have a wide enough room in my furniture. Like my bedroom's too small, apparently. I live in an old house and my furniture is too big. But it's just kind of fun, I feel like, to work around with that. And then it will also, when you're done with it, it kind of prints you out like a list so you can keep it, so you can make the updates to it yourself. So next slide. And then Micah and I just went through and we made, and we're not going to go through all the resources because we weren't sure where everybody was going to be from. But just in general, just so you know, you can always call 211. And then I put the website on here too. So 211 Arizona. Um, and wherever you are in Arizona, you can call and ask. So when somebody was asking, are there any resources for older adults? So I don't know. It would probably depend more on the reason why you would need new flooring. Um, but if there was something wrong with the current flooring, like if it was the like moldy or something like that, then you might be able to get assistance with paying for that. Um, if you live in a rural part of the state, so Arizona Rural Development State Office. So the USDA has home repairs grants, and they also do a home repair loan. I think the loan is for like 1% interest rates. So these are the for low income homeowners, for older adults that are 62 plus. And the office is located up in Phoenix area. But again, Micah and I are going to send this out. Um, okay, yeah, so that might for the carpet for if you've fallen several times. I mean, you can always call and see. So then we're going to send these slides out so we won't go through all of them. But move to the next one. So if you're in Cochise County, if you happen to be on this, we have some home repair information here. Move to the next slide. I put them in alphabetical order, so I tried to. We'll see how well I did. I might have been a little tired making this. Pima community we have. So Cochise, Pima, more Pima. Pima has a few slides I put on there. I think Micah wanted to highlight Southwest Medical Aid if you want to talk about what they do real fast, Micah.
Sure. I mentioned a little bit while I was sharing, but Southwest Medical Aid is a great nonprofit in South Tucson that provides durable medical equipment and medical supplies for free. Um, I used to work there. I've seen them give out incontinence supplies, hospital beds, wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, so much. So this is their website and their phone number, and you can donate if you have stuff to donate, and you can order if you need something, all at no cost. We have somebody that was supported by Chirpa, who we mentioned on the previous slide here, Community Home Repair Projects of Arizona. Direct AZ also does, they assist low income people living with disabilities to modify their homes. Interfaith Community Services. So we have it'll all be on the information shared back out with you, but we wanted to lift up just recommending if you're not in Pima County, just to you can always call your local area agency on aging who might have recommendations for you. Do you want me to keep going, Angela?
Yeah, I just put other ones on there. So, and again, we'll send this out.
Yeah. Yuma.
Chirpa is not statewide. It is, I believe, just in Pima County, maybe just Tucson area too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where are you, Vicky? What part of the state?
I'm over in La Paz County.
In La Paz. So that would be, if you go back one slide, Micah, that would be WACOG, what you would call for help with that.
Yes, and they have been great, but like most agencies, they're just overwhelmed with
Yes.
the need. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And then I just wanted to put out a couple more. If you live in Tucson, these are just some in-person events that we do every month. Tai Chi we do every week. You don't have to be an AARP member to attend any of these events. But they're just to help keep you if you want to stay healthy. Tai Chi is really great to help with um, fall reductions, fall risk with your balance. Um, and then if you don't live in Tucson, we do also tons of online events. And again, you don't have to be an AARP member. They do free Tai Chi online. They do free chair yoga, free yoga. They do like free movies for grown-ups online where we have a lot of like independent movie film producers reach out to us and they want to show their movies on movies for grown-ups. But just tons and tons of free online stuff as well. So I just wanted to um, put that information out there too. So also, if you're a caregiver, I wanted to highlight this. If you call 211 and identify yourself as a caregiver, they have a whole separate like list of resources to give you as a caregiver. So I think that's it. Yeah.
That is it. Thank you all so much for joining us. Feel free. You'll look out for our email with follow-up information and attachments, and feel free to stay in touch with us. We appreciate you. There will be a short survey sent out after. If you can share any feedback with us, we would appreciate it. We're grateful to share this with you, and there will be more virtual workshops to come, hopefully, if you like this one, if we didn't do too rough of a job. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. This is great.
Thank you.
Joining. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you so
week.
much. That was great. Have a good week.
Thank you.
You as well.
Thank you, Angela.
Thanks, Micah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.